Right. Hello, lovelies, and welcome to this week's podcast. This week, I want to specialise in hair loss. So I've got one of my best friends, Sharni, who specialises in hair loss, to join us for this week's topic. So for those of you who don't know, I specialise in hair loss via the tattooing route. So clients come to see me when they've lost their eyebrow hair, whether it's through alopecia or chemotherapy treatments. And it's a topic that obviously also hits us when we start hitting the menopause and we naturally start losing hair as well. So Sharni will join us shortly, but I just wanted to tell you a few stories of how I actually met Sharni. I met her about 10 years ago, I think it was. And as crazy as she is, she just randomly sent me a message saying, I want some treatments. Never heard from her before. She was a hairdresser at the time. One of her friends had had the permanent makeup done, and she literally just wanted a treatment. As soon as I'd done the treatment, she wanted me to work in her salon. So at that time, she had a salon in Rosington, specialising in all forms of hair. And I went to look at the room and I nearly cried. It was like, honestly, on Harry Potter, if you think about Harry Potter, it was the most smallest room in the whole wide world. Me being me, oh yeah, I can do anything. I can work from this room. So yeah, I remember plenty of years working just from one side of the bed in this most smallest room that I called Harry Potter under the stairs. So anyway, moving on and fast forwarding, Sharni opened up a salon in Retford, and she also opened a salon up in Bawtry. When she opened a salon in Bawtry, she didn't have room for me. She kicked me out, basically. We're still friends, but she didn't have any room. There wasn't a separate room for me. So I opened up my own salon in Gainsborough. And I remember on my opening night, she just came in and she was like, oh my God, this is absolutely amazing. And she just felt at zen. And as I'm actually talking, Sharni's listening to my story right now, and she's probably laughing about all the laughs of the Harry Potter under the stairs. Can you remember that cupboard?
I do, but the thing is with that, I don't think we actually told you at the time that it was a cupboard. It was originally made to be the store cupboard. I was like, there's definitely room for a bed in here. And then obviously you got to the challenge and did some amazing eyebrows in one side of the bed. So, and I think that's when not just the work relationship, but the friendship really started to bloom.
Yeah.
But it's I think we're both, no matter what situation we're in, if we think that we can help somebody, we'll always find a way. And I think that that's what you were doing for me at the time.
Yeah.
So obviously always be super grateful to my little Harry Potter.
Hidden under the stairs.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you've been in the industry a long time, but for my listeners, will you just tell me a little bit about your background? I know obviously you specialise in hair, but you didn't start there. So just tell me a little bit about your background and how you ended up in my building.
Yeah, so I've been in the hair industry for about 25 years. I was a tomboy, so I never even thought that I would be a hairdresser, but I was always very creative, and I went to do a Saturday job. I'm starting right from the beginning here, Jody.
Yeah, right.
So I started with my Saturday job, but I just found that I could do it really easily, and I think I really enjoyed the instant gratification of like making somebody feel good. And I was like, I can do this. So I ended up going into traditional hairdressing. I'm not very good at being told what to do. So
no, I have to interrupt now. I'm so sorry for interrupting. Nobody who knows Sharni would ever guess that. So
it was inevitable that I was going to be self-employed and working for myself.
Yeah.
So I ended up opening my first salon. I think I did open one many years ago. As like a little trial, and I did that with another lady, and I just feel like for me, I have to be my own boss and I have to do it by myself. So we parted ways when I had my daughter, and then I reopened in 2008, and that was in Rosington.
That was the bigger salon, wasn't it, before I met you?
Yeah. And that was the clients that were with from the beginning, they were very loyal, and I think some of them still even go to Emily now. The salon was that cold that when you put the shower on your head, steam came in.
We've all done these things when we first started out.
And you have to start somewhere. So, but I was determined to make it work. So, yeah. And then I moved from there into a newer building.
It was gorgeous.
Smaller.
It was gorgeous.
But newer. And that's why we put you in the cupboard.
Yeah.
And so it was just, at that point, probably me, you and Emily
And
We had a couple of other girls, a couple of apprentices. Yeah, we've had staff come and go, and always helped them on their journey. But we've always had like the core of what's been around the salon, haven't we? And you've always been part of that. And then from there, we opened the big salon in Retford. Yeah, 2 floors, very industrial.
yeah, I had a massive room. I just have to tell everyone, and then for those of you who ever did come to Retford, I found myself lost and just making myself spread out over. It was huge, that room. It was beautiful.
Absolutely massive. And I absolutely loved that salon. We had lots of staff and lots of stuff going on. But then my life changed, and I went through a divorce, and I decided to really simplify everything in my life.
Yeah, done similar.
Yeah, so me and Emily, again, the core business, decided to move the salon to Bawtry. And then it was just me and Emily for a while. But unfortunately, there wasn't a cupboard for you to go in.
They did actually. I have to tell you this. They did actually try working the kitchen and toilet, that they could try and partition the toilet off a little bit. And they're like, could we just put them in here? And I was like, girls, no. I can't do it. It's absolutely fine. I'll go. One of my other friends owns a salon in Retford. I'm just going to go there for a little while.
Yeah. So, well, I think that's the thing with journeys, isn't it? So it was hard because it was like, right, we have to draw a line under this work relationship. But obviously we still had a friendship. But that drove you to look for yourself. And obviously you've opened this beautiful clinic. And then your journey then took me on a new journey. Because when I came into this building, I absolutely fell in love.
Yeah.
And there's just something about it's very calm.
Yeah.
And then so for a while I had both the clinic and the salon.
Yep.
And then after lockdown, again, I just really wanted to simplify my life and just decided that I would hand the salon over to Emily, who takes very good care of the clients that we had there, and everybody. It just felt like a natural progression as well.
It was natural. You could see the smile on your face when you were empowering women. So for those of you that don't know, Sharni works below me. We're in a really old grey listed building. It's 3 stories, and she's got a very private, secluded clinic now, where obviously women feel okay to be able to take their hair pieces off, and it's private. It's a safe space. And I know you were managing obviously your passion of that as well as the salon, and splitting yourself between 2 places. We've only got 1 pair of hands.
Too much.
It is.
And sorry. Yeah, it was just too much. And I think that I'd really needed to dedicate my educating myself and my time to my clients' experience in hair loss.
Yeah.
Because it is a sensitive subject. Yeah. Everybody's different. And at the time I was...
Sharni's just getting over a cold, by the way. You have to bear with us.
Yeah, sorry. And at the time I was going through a lot of change in my life, and I just felt like this was the natural part of my journey to do that. And I've never looked back. It's been incredible. And it does work really well being in the same building as you, because I can refer clients to you as well when they're needing help with other things.
Yeah.
Because it is not just about hair when you experience hair loss. Sometimes it's brows, lashes, that kind of thing. And sometimes clients don't understand about the framing of the face. So I like that I'm able to explain honestly the hair side of it, and then I'm able to refer them to somebody else who can explain about the brows and how we can help on that side.
Yeah. Would you say you've found your passion, your why for getting up in the morning?
My why's always been empowering women through whatever I do, whether that's my staff, whether it's educating or taking care of clients. But I feel like all the way through my career, I've always known that there's something else, but I've never known what it is. So that's why I ended up being a colour specialist, then I was a bridal specialist. I worked on stage at big hair shows for big companies. And I always felt like there's something missing. And then all of a sudden, I've just known that this is what it is.
All the times when you were obviously doing your hair and I saw you with your clients, it was always about making them feel better.
Yeah.
It's same as me, hence why I've launched this podcast about getting your sparkle back. It is about empowering women. And I think that's why we gel so well, because anything and everything we can do is always the end goal. Is why do we do what we do? It's because we want to empower women, want them to feel good, want them to feel special about themselves. And at the end of the day, like one of my very first podcasts said, it doesn't matter if I'm having a bad day, if I've actually empowered somebody else and made them walk out of the salon with a bit more knowledge, a bit more confidence, and a bounce in the step.
Yeah.
And I see that in you every day, especially when my clients come upstairs and they've had a consultation with you and they've got a bigger lease of life. Honestly, mate, I could cry over sometimes when they've got the beast. I saw one of my clients yesterday. I've tattooed her eyebrows and I was met on the stairs. I was like, "Oh, where have you been?" She went, "I've just been to see Sharni to get my new wig." I was like, "Oh, fantastic." She had the biggest smile on her face, and it's amazing.
I think the one of the main things that I like to do is give people options. So I like to spend that time educating them about what options I've got. Because I think a lot of women, when they're experiencing hair loss, feel that they are trapped in a situation and that they've had all of their options and taken away from them.
Yeah.
So even if there's two options, that empowers them to make that right decision. So I spend most of my time educating them about lots of different things, whether that is the services that I provide, the service that you provide, a trichologist, a dermatologist. As long as they leave that session feeling empowered through education, and they can make informed decisions, I feel like I've done my job. So even if they leave and they've not taken anything or they've not booked a service, if they feel empowered, then I feel that I've done my job.
Yeah, that's the same with me. If parent makeup isn't right for them, that actually leads me on to a really good thing. So obviously, lots of my clients come to you because they have got alopecia and total hair loss.
Yeah.
And years ago, I've been doing what I've been doing over 16 years. Wigs used to have this stigma. You could tell them a mile away. They'd stand out. People didn't want to wear them because they were itchy, they were hot. They just were this awful, like, bog standard cut and dodgy colours and not blended. Can you obviously debunk a few myths for me? Because there'll be people out there going through hair loss. They're not sure where the wigs, they don't even know what hair integration is. So we just explain obviously what wigs are, how they've come on, and also what the special integration system you do and how and about it.
I think the thing with wigs is the standard of wig wasn't very high because the demand wasn't particularly there, not because people weren't suffering with hair loss or experiencing hair loss. It was more because women didn't speak out about hair loss. So then they had to put up with what was on the market. And so it never progressed. Well, like over the last few years, women have really started speaking out about hair loss. I think we've had lots of things happen like COVID where hair loss was a side effect of that. So that brought it to the forefront over the last few years. You've got celebrities and people who wear wigs and you can see them having them put on online.
Yeah.
So the demand has gotten more because women have realised that there are options. So once the demand is there, then the industry has to step up. Sorry. So then once the demand is there, the industry has to step up and put things in place for those women. So for me, I always explain to women that are looking for a wig or a hair system that they have to look at their own life, at what they usually invest in the hair and what they usually invest time-wise, and that will help them choose what is right for them. So if you don't usually go to the hairdressers and your hair's not really important for you, spending £1,200 on a wig is going to feel really extreme and you're not going to be bothered about it looking a certain way. If somebody goes to the hairdresser every 6 weeks, and they're used to spending £120 every 6 weeks, we usually calculate that over a year, and that's what we'd use to spend on a wig. And obviously, the more that you spend, the better quality you're going to get. So I think you need to really think about what is important to you and where you want to invest. And if it is in a wig, then there are a lot of things that you need to look for. So it's very, very confusing when people are out there looking, especially when you're looking online. But the things that you need to really think about are the type of lace. So we use something called Swiss lace, which literally melts into the skin and you can't see it when it's on there.
Is that where, like, you can't, because obviously traditionally you could see that stop-start. I can never see a stop-start.
Yeah, that's the lace. Yeah, so that's the Swiss lace, and that will make a huge difference. And then you've got the type of cap. So you need to base the cap on things like whether it's warm. If you're in a hot country, you want an open wefted cap, closed wefted cap for this country usually. And then the quality of the hair. So I use Brazilian hair and it lasts my client around 2 years. And after about a year, you want to do some maintenance on it. The thing about wigs as well is that a lot of things that you don't like about your biological hair are the things that you actually miss when you put a wig on.
Right.
So the wigs that look wiggy are usually too perfect.
Like too, like, nylon-y.
Or like just the cut is too straight or the cut is too heavy or there's too much hair. There's no baby hairs.
Right.
So when a client comes to try on a wig, it will be quite full. Obviously you've got the lace on, and then once they sit in the chair, we do things like we'll take all the weight out the sides because naturally everyone's back.
I mean, cut the wig. All right, so you actually cut it.
Yeah. So we remove weight from the sides, pluck in the hairline so that you haven't got a blunt finish on the hairline. So there's so many things, like things like roots. We all hate our roots, but nobody doesn't not have roots. So if you've got a wig with no roots all the time, people will start to question.
You actually pop some roots on.
Yeah.
That's why, like, I know this sounds really down and I'm asking questions, but every time I see my clients, obviously they don't tell me all these things that you've done, but that literally is why, and I'm not just saying this, where I can tell there'll be some of my clients with a great respect, they come in and they've not been cut. Now I understand that they look a little bit more
solid.
too solid, because they've not been cut in a frame.
Because no one's hair is perfect. You will get the odd person, but no one's hair is actually full at the sides. So we tend to take quite a lot of weight out, and it might take, just like any normal haircut or colour, it might take a couple of goes before you get where you need to be. So you might have your wig fitted and think that's perfect, and then in a couple of weeks you'll be like, something's quite not right. And if you've gone to a specialist that you trust, you can go back and just say, I feel like something's not right, and you can work it out together. But it is usually the things that you didn't like about your biological hair that you're missing.
Right.
So like your baby hairs, your flyaways, your roots, that kind of thing.
Flyaway for me.
Yeah. Because if it's too smooth, people will question. Because anything to do with hair loss solutions is all about an optical illusion. So even when we're fitting a mesh integration system, it's all an optical illusion. It's to trick the other person's eye and to trick your eye when you look in the mirror so that you don't question anything. So if you keep looking in the mirror and you notice your system, then it's still going to be an issue for you because you're still thinking about your hair loss. If you look in the mirror and you notice your wig, the same thing, or you can feel it, the key is to create an optical illusion so you can just forget about it and get on with your life.
Can you explain to the listeners the hair integration?
Yeah, so in mesh integration is a new service. Well, it's not actually a new service. It's been around for years and years and years. We've just tweaked it and it has become more popular.
That's good. It's like me with people when they say, oh, microblading is this new thing they knew about.
Yeah, just reinvented. So it will have originally come from like the Afro-Caribbean hair industry, because women have sewn wefts on into hair and they've worn cleansers for years, and then it's just filtered down and filtered through. So I'll start from the beginning and explain what it is, because I love to talk.
Go on, just tell me all.
Yeah. So we have a mesh base, and that mesh base is what protects the hair. So we create a mesh cap, and then we pull the biological hair through the mesh cap and secure it with some little locks. Once we've got all of the locks on, we can then begin to attach the wefts and the closure to the mesh base. So this is what I would class as like a semi-permanent wig, because you've got a base like you would have a wig, and then everything is attached to the base. But the difference with the mesh integration is that mesh is permanently attached to the biological hair.
Right.
So the job of the mesh is to protect the biological hair though. So if somebody's hair's not strong enough for a traditional hair extension, then we can use the mesh to evenly distribute the weight so that we're able to pop that on for a client. And they wear that for around 8, 10 or 12 weeks. And then it's all fully removed and refitted. And in between that, they'll come and have a tightening.
Good.
So when I first learned about this kind of system, I just really wanted to master it. And that's where InteliMESH was born, because I wanted to tweak it and make it work. And I was really lucky that I had a little lady. She was 83 when I first met her. And she helped me for a 12-month period. And I did mesh integration on it. And we went back and forth and we tried and tested loads of different things until I felt that I'd mastered like the perfect system.
She's guinea pig.
Yeah, basically. And I didn't really have much choice because she's so lovely. They came in and like, I've been told you can do this system. And I was very nervous. And I'm like, oh, I kind of think I can. And she was like, no, you can. And you are. And you're going to do it. And I was like, okay, Eileen. So I owe so much to her, because she was the person who pushed me to actually put it into practice.
Yes.
And then once I'd mastered it, then I opened the clinic and started seeing clients. And the rest is all off. Yeah, it's just been amazing.
I teach it now as well.
Yeah, so I educate, and not just educate how to fit a system, but educate how to help clients in every aspect. So the industry is growing really, really rapidly. And we've got so many stylists out there that really want to help women experiencing hair loss. So I want to empower them so they can do as good a job as possible and they feel supported. So I support them before training, during training, and then mentor them afterwards. And anybody that's done the training that feels that they need support, even when the training is not with me, they can still come and get mentored, because I feel that we should just empower each other and create like a really, really strong community. Because if we raise standards, take care of like women experiencing hair loss and make it more accessible to more women, then that's just the mission, really. Right? Empowerment through education, through treatment, through anything that can.
Eventually, like, I love listening to you. I can listen to you all day. As you guys can actually see, when she talks about obviously hair loss, she sparkles. When I talk about hair loss, it sparkles. So I was going to obviously ask what makes you smile. But obviously,
and empowerment.
Yeah, it is. It's literally empowerment. Even us as friends, we have days where we suffer from imposter syndrome. We're having a bad day. We want to kick a cat. Sorry for cat lovers. But we literally have those days where you can find yourself all of a sudden, because you give so much of your energy and your sparkle to make everybody else feel good. You feel sometimes overwhelmed, don't you? So have you got any hints and tips to listeners that, you know, any things that you do in the morning? I'm trying to do like your miracle mornings and be more grateful and gratitude meditation.
Is a huge thing for me. Like having gratitude really is life-changing.
It was for me.
Yeah, massively, because once you start to have negative thoughts, they just spiral. And I've been there and done that, and I've experienced depression in my life and all those other things. And I think I have gratitude every day just to be able to get up and come to work, and that I've got children and a family and all of those other things, but I never take them for granted either. And I meet so many incredible women, and I learn so much from them, that I try, and everything that I've learned from them, I try and put into practice in my own life. And one of them is about work-life balance. So I think if you do experience imposter syndrome, which I think most self-employed people do,
I'm definitely one of them.
Yeah, I think that's why we end up being self-employed, because we're unemployable.
I don't know what you're trying to say. I was employed for I don't know. Maybe the man called me a tenant.
Because we want to be the best that we can possibly be. So, like, you're running at 100 miles an hour and you're pushing yourself so much that, like, I think sometimes other people find that hard to manage. So I feel like we end up being self-employed, because then we only have ourselves to blame when we're like pushing and exhausting ourselves. But I'm constantly learning, and I'm constantly telling myself to slow down. But I think I'm always going to be an evolution. So my company is always going to be like an evolution of last year, and I enjoy that part of it. But I've also had to learn that the tired version of me is not the best version. And if I want to do a good job, I have to have balance. I just physically can't do it. And obviously, I've just had back surgery. So now my body tells me anyway. So even though if my mind doesn't want to accept it, my body tells me.
I'm the same with my health. If I push too much on something and I don't look after my body, it tells me. Thyroid flies up. And so just I know.
On nerve pain. So, but all of the women that I meet, especially the women going through treatment, like I try and learn something from each of them and then try and put that into my own life, because I've got, like, I don't think until you're experiencing something like they experienced, do you really sit back and think about who you are, what you want to put out into the world and experience, and what you want to leave behind, like
your legacy.
Your legacy. And I think I'm really fortunate. I've not been in that position, but the other side is that I have met women that are in that position, and now I want to take something from them and make a change with that and help other people. So something that I learned from somebody, I might pass on to the next client, just to help them through their journey.
That's why I've launched this podcast, Sharni, to be truthful, because you're like me. We literally talk to our clients and we pass on some knowledge that one of my last clients gave me. So someone taught me about gaslighting, someone taught me about, that might have even been you. And then someone taught me about like some amazing tablets for my perimenopause, and then I tell everybody else about them. And it is literally it's not just tattooing eyebrows, it's engaging with that client. It's, you don't just put a wig on. You find out so much about that client, and you're right. It's a link, and you take a personal piece of them with you onto your journey. And it's a journey that we're all on, isn't it?
Yeah, like I'm just trying to link 2 clients at the minute who are very young, experiencing hair loss. Both have felt isolated in their journey because they can't find anybody else online experiencing what they're experiencing, because they're not talking about it in their age group, basically. And I feel that my job is to pass on what I learned from one of those young girls onto the next young girl, and hopefully get them to maybe meet one day or link and support each other. And I think that that's something that we really need to, something that we really need to like empower throughout the industry, and that's what I try and speak to people about when I'm educating.
It's hard though, especially like when we're in a very visual world, and we've got so much social media around us. I do feel for the younger generation at times, and sometimes the old generation, because some of my clients who are slightly older as well, they obviously talk about Instagram and, oh, don't post that on it unless it's got a filter on it and this, that and the other.
Oh God, I went through the filter.
Oh, for those of you who don't personally know, Sharni, yes, we used to have like 100 pictures when we went out on a night, and they were all filtered. I didn't even look like me. I'm like, oh wow, check me out. But
why though?
We went through that stage. Yeah, we did cats, we did dogs, we did all the funny like things.
What if then like the filters where they don't look like you? Like I look back at some pictures and think, why? But I'm just fooling myself.
Yeah.
Like I don't know if it's an age thing, but like now, people who have seen my social media, I'm very fortunate that one of my best friends,
I don't know who that is.
but I don't work without makeup on, because obviously my eyebrows are still there and my lashes and stuff. But I found so much peace in being authentic.
Yeah.
And I feel that the clients that are attracted to me are attracted to that authentic part of me. And when I was using the filter and feeling that I'm not good enough and obsessing about certain things, it really isn't good for your mental health.
No,
really.
No, it's affected my mental health, being truthful, because I would call myself a dinosaur of the industry, and obviously I'm 45, I've got lots of younger people out there that...
So I see it very different.
Now like that filter, and they filter their work to an inch of its life, to the point where I took your advice, stop looking at their posts. Your work is real. I've always promoted real results, real people, real lives. And I think I went through that phase of, oh my God, nobody seems to be doing that. Everyone seemed to filter themselves, as well as filtering their own work, of filtering the business, whatever they're in, and everything was filtered. And I felt like I was by myself, going, no, I need to stand and be authentic to myself. No, I am not filtering my work. And it affected my confidence to the point where I didn't want to post anything because I didn't think I was good enough. And it was reminding myself,
and I think that the thing is though, that it helps you align with the correct client.
Yes.
Because the clients, for me, since I've just been really authentic with myself and like I speak about the other side of the industry, and that it's okay not to have that feeling after a treatment, because not everybody gets that. Some people are like, oh crap.
Yeah, overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed. And it might take them 7 days to adjust to seeing this new version of themselves. That's completely normal too. But I found that once I started opening up that part of my industry, and I know you've done it with yours, the clients that came to me, they want realistic results.
Yeah.
They want them more natural. They want a safe space where they can really be themselves.
Yeah. Because none of us look like Jennifer Aniston 24/7, but Jennifer Aniston doesn't look like Jennifer Aniston on Instagram.
But the thing is, and then I think they're not looking at other people who do a similar thing to you. It's kind of just giving yourself permission to focus on your mission, but also they're focusing on their mission, and the people that they will attract are looking for that kind of look.
Yeah.
And then they have to, that's why they filter into that particular stylist or that particular permanent makeup artist. But I just feel like within our industry, it is always better to under-promise and over-deliver. I feel like when you filter too many things and you're editing things, then you can almost oversell and under-deliver.
Yeah.
And that's never a nice feeling.
No, you don't want to disappoint.
No, exactly. But just like anything, everything that we do in our industries has like limitations as well. And that's part of like the process, is educating them about what we do, its good side, its bad side, and how you must take care of it and all this kind of thing. And it's, yeah, and I think if you're open and honest, you're going to have a more successful treatment.
Yeah, definitely.
A relationship with your client.
Thank you so much, Sharni, for being so honest. So for me, I personally believe love and laughter, they make the world go round. I love helping people as you do. So talking about laughter, the whole point of the podcast is to inform people, educate people on loads of different things. So one of my previous episodes, I'm quite raw and I'm open on these podcasts more than I ever thought I would be. And my poor husband is like, "You're sharing stories about pooing on your honeymoon. What on earth are you doing?"
The first thing he said when you saw me, I was like, "How are you honeymoon?" "I pooed myself."
And so for everybody else, obviously, you'll have to listen to the other podcast of why I pooed myself on my honeymoon and my actual fear of public toilets. I mean, I'm sure you know also my fear of public toilets. I never go to the toilet, do I? So is there anything that you want to share with my listeners? Just a funny random story.
The only one I was just saying to you, the only one that kind of pops to mind is not long ago, probably because something that we do for fun, we absolutely love fancy dress.
Yeah.
Like I know it's really trashy, but I just think we do such serious jobs that we just love to go and get dressed up and be silly and dance like no one's watching.
Yeah. Well, they are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but I think my last trip to Butlins, which I'm going to have another trip because I can't let it end on that, because I've been quite unwell and been on a lot of medication, and I drank alcohol, which I probably shouldn't have done. And I got very, very drunk and I got jelly legs and had to be took back to the room quite early on in the night. But one of the side effects of what my illness was that my intestines and everything were inflamed.
Yeah.
So it meant that I couldn't eat gluten or certain foods. And my sister took me back to the room. I think, did Fiona take me back as well to look after me? And I started crying because I wanted a Kit Kat in my drunken state. And then
Only it's a twirl.
Yeah. But obviously I'm allowed to eat twirl, but I'm not allowed a Kit Kat. So I was crying because I wanted a Kit Kat. So my sister went hunting for Kit Kats, and when she came back to give me the Kit Kat, I started crying because she was trying to kill me. And I haven't really drank alcohol since then. But I think, I think we are all silly sometimes when it's, as long as you've got the right people around you and you create like that safe place.
A girl tribe.
Yeah, you can kind of just be silly, and like that was, I woke up the next morning absolutely traumatised, but it doesn't matter because we can laugh about it now and you just move on and learn from you. And I can eat Kit Kats, by the way, now, everyone.
So Sharni will always skirt across some of her journeys, but she's one of the most amazing women that I've ever met. We always have conversations, and if I'm feeling down, she definitely picks me up. So I've obviously mentioned on previous podcasts I lost my sparkle, and while you're here today, Sharni, I just wanted to say thank you so much for helping me get my sparkle back.
And for me as well, like always, like literally, like I always think about like our friendship, like how it like bloomed. I feel like I think I wrote this in your wedding card, but how we like met each other and then we were friends, like adoring friends from a distance for a while, and then just something overnight I think we both just went through this little journey, but we did it around the same time, even though they were very different.
Yeah.
But I feel like, I don't think it's the friendship that I've ever experienced before.
It's because you learn on it.
I'm super grateful, and I know that I can come to you for anything.
We do. We honestly, we have to. We nobody else will put up with us, listeners. Honestly, we're both absolutely crazy in our own rights, and apparently I've got ADHD, which my friends haven't wanted to tell me about for ages. So I'll have to talk about that another time. But thank you again, Sharni, for taking time out of your busy diary. I know you're super busy. So for the rest of you, I hope you have an amazing week. Thank you for listening. I hope you've got some insight into the world of hair loss. If you've got any questions for Sharni, I'll pop her details below. Have an amazing week and keep that sparkle going.